Dr. Raman, I know yesterday you had the opportunity to meet up with some of the university students at NSBM Green University, which is an up and coming new university. It's an amazing university because it's entirely government owned, but not a single rupee has been invested by the government. And you saw the facilities, which is world-class facilities there. And so this is the model that we want to sort of adopt, that the model that we should adopt moving forward so that they don't become a burden on the government. What's your message to the university academics, because you come from a sort of a similar background? What should be the message, or what should the universities be doing to mold some mindsets of these young graduates who are coming out from these universities, so that they have that entrepreneurship and the risk-taking appetite when they come out from the universities?
Thank you very much for the opportunity to join this discussion. The very first, definitely there is a huge gap between industry and academics. Let's all accept it, because we have faced it. And the gap, I'll give you an example of a gap. You publish a paper and you say that tomorrow is the deadline. It's okay, they will anyhow extend it, so I'll publish it next week. This is the academics part. Here's the industry. I give you a product, why didn't you give it to me yesterday? Okay? Now, how do you, there's a buffer which has to be filled by the universities. How does the university fill this buffer? One of the standing examples that we have done is the setting up of research park at IIT Madras, which has actually filled up this buffer between the industry and the academics. We were looking at professors who were interested in building products for industry, so they had to have an opportunity. So they went ahead and did it. Remember, this was done with minimal amount of government funding. So this is very, very important, because everywhere we see that the government has to put a lot of money in infrastructure. Not necessary, because IIT Madras took about 100 crores. Within 5 years, they generated 400 crores using loan, repaid this 400 crores, and now they are worth about 48,000 crores in 20 years. We believe it's slow. Okay, so we are looking at something known as 10x. So how does the university fill this gap? You have people who have been in the industry. You form a board of governors, okay, from the academics and the industry. Set up research parks that is independent of the university. Don't make them part of the university. Otherwise, the same vice chancellor who has been in academics will be controlling the same research. And again, it will become a project execution agency. I get projects, I execute it, I publish papers. So there should be a different thinking that should come in, where you have more people from the industry. The industry should be called in to contribute. It should be run like a not-for-profit company. And that helps a lot. IIT Madras is a not-for-profit, IIT Madras Research Park is a not-for-profit company, completely owned by IIT Madras. Only the chairman is the director of IIT Madras. So, and the rest of the board members are from the industry, and most of the times the decisions are taken by the people in the industry and academics working together, and the chairman just approves it. So if you can bring this sort of a model in every university, the reason why we say this is, either to assist the industry or a startup, you need technological help. And the technological help comes from the university. And your university should be capable of giving that technology help. Okay, if not there, go for a tie-up and get the help from them. So if this is a simple mantra, which we have used, and we have found it to be successful.
Thank you. Ravindra, Shaka, want you just to get your experience on how do you ensure that you have the right linkages with industry, with people like the NASCOM, and then the rest of the tech industry to other industries and so on. From an academic perspective, what would you tell our university academics here? What needs to be done to make sure that these linkages are strong, vibrant, and very focused?
So there are two kinds of problems that we look at. One is the fundamental research that people do, and that's a separate agenda for academicians which they can carry on. But there are thousands of problems in industry. Okay, and the problems are even bound. I can give you one example of a physically challenged person once said that he is not able to stand up during the national anthem. And immediately the startup started with the concept of standing wheelchair. And this was just one concept where it was only a societal cause. And this startup is now doing very well. Now, this was observed by a professor, okay, and he got that startup up. Now, this is where the professors are open their minds and then looking at. Now comes the company's problem. We had to solve some problem from one of the top multinational companies where they had a product which was not very accurate. And they said, can you do something about it because we have to sell it in the market. So this is where we went back to the academicians and said that, look, here's a fantastic research problem from the industry. Why don't you solve it? And once they solved it, they got a patent and this got incorporated in the product and the company made a lot of money out of it while the professor. So this kind of vacuum that is existing today must be filled in with these kind of problems. So what we do is we look out for companies, in fact, IITM Pravartak, we take projects from the companies, scout for it, and then we give it to the startups. And if the startups land up with a solution, you go back to the academics, fill up the gap, because the startups will not know how to work with the industry. And the academicians do not know how to go with the industry, and the industry does not know how to work with the academicians. The other part is also there. So this is the buffer that we fill. So if there is a technical problem, we go back to the university. If there is a business problem, we again come back to the industry. So this kind of zigzag fashion, we were able to address many of the problems with the industry, and the R&Ds, the talent of the people increased. I mean, both at the industry, now the industry people know how to interact with the academicians. So this is very, very important for an incubator, because I can't just give a space, I can't give some money and I'll just go, you find out some VC, you go and find out the market. This is not going to work. Or even if it is done independently, also it will not work. There should be some sort of a caretaker who looks at the startup, okay, where is your pain point, review them, okay, review them for financials. If they are not doing well, ask them to go to the customers, okay, and tell them, I will not get you a customer, you have to go and find a customer. Those are the hard work that is needed by the startup. You can't leave them high and dry and then say that, okay, you are not building up anything. So this is exactly what we do.
Thanks.